Hello everyone, I'm Alice De Mauro. I'm Italian, as you can hear very, very easily. And I've been a software engineer for a long, long time, like, I don't know, 18 years or so. So I'm a senior front-ender, like many of you very likely. And I work in Vercel. I'm mostly now in the GTM go-to-market side of things. So what I do is like talk to customers, understand their issues, and so on. Like try to figure out any type of trade-offs in the tech in order to adopt Vercel and Next.js, because as you know, Vercel is the creator and maintainer, of course, of Next.js. We have a big team for it. What are we going to do? By the way, I found a pen that looks like Voldemort's magic wand. So for whoever lost it, ping me afterwards, OK? Where are the boots, or come to me. What are we going to do today? So as you can see, I'm starting like no slides. So we're not going to do any slides. We're going to do hands-on directly, dangerous. We're going to pray the demo gods consequently. And I'm going to show you how to build something with V0, so with AI and prompting, personalize it, and consequently pass it to Alexandre from Strapi in order to get the data and like figure out the schema and so on. So you're gonna see. Because we are, let's say, not only vibe coding and vibe publishing, but also I am vibe presenting because I don't have any slides, I'm going to actually ask V0. So can you make some slides based on vercel.com describing, if I can write, that's kind of necessary, describing how great is V0. And I also prepared here a little link, the V0 policy, showing information about V0 policy. So you can also navigate the web, for example, when necessary. And pick the theme of vercel.com, so the look and feel, and make maybe 6 slides. Let me see. I think this is OK. And then we're going to pray, because that's what you do when you deal with AI, right? So I'm going to hope. We prepared a lot. We prepared a lot of content. We prepared backups. We prepared like double projects in order to avoid any issues. So in case something goes wrong, we're all prepared in order to avoid you waiting too much or something that doesn't go well. So don't worry about that. But I'm going to show you basically how potentially you can create content from V0 directly. V0 is your Next.js expert, is also your Vercel expert, and is also your Svelte expert. If you ask about anything else, it depends. So we train it, of course, on Next.js. We train it on everything that's Vercel side, right? But, OK, let's see what it did. So these are the slides introducing V0. Yeah, true, pre-programming, grazie, that's correct. Faster with V0, B0 policy, OK, the content guidelines. And you can see just how I can go through it. So these are simply slides. It did interpret the Vercel logo a little funny. This is typical AI. But what I could have done, of course, is to add, I'm going to show you maybe on my personal, is add many more information, right? So I could have added, for example, TXT files, PDF files, images. So I'm going to show you some small examples. So a cool one is this animation. So I did an animation for people to try to understand the difference between static and dynamic. And look how funny they are. So this is the network, the server, and the client, the HTML on the server, the HTML on the edge. And it's just created the animation by itself. I'm hitting on next right now, so I'm like going forward. But you can see how you can ask V0 to reason, to just say, hey, can you please create something, to explain something to somebody else. Like, for example, Vercel, Next.js, PPR, rendering strategies. I do a lot with this. Anytime I feel super lazy, and I'm like, I don't want to do this, I ask V0, can you blurb something? And then it comes out with an idea. And I'm going to also show you, look how cute is this. So I had this leaderboard. Oh, yeah, of course. So this doesn't work. Yeah, no, wait. It does work, but it's a little bit funky. Wait. Here we go. You can change version. I'm going to show you how. But this was a leaderboard, for example, with some colors. And, you can also go colorful mode. It just, go back to, oh, my goodness, how do I? One sec. No. Back. OK. Sometimes, of course, it's still an ongoing process, right? So it's still a website that it's going to be always in the workings. We deliver something like a new feature every week. So it's really ongoing. It's a new product. This week, we're going to deliver something interesting with Cursor, for example. I'm going to read some very interesting information. But first, I want to go on the project that I'm going to use for this specific session, because I want to show you more or less what I can do when I use V0, so all the capabilities together. Let me see if I can reuse anything. No, let's go from scratch. So I can upload from my computer, and I can upload a code base or single files. It could be TXT and so on. At this very moment, I want to show you a game engine. So I want documentation. So basically, I'm going to create the documentation from a game engine, which are very complex, extremely structured. They have text, context, and so on. So they have a very interesting structure, usually. They're not the easiest. So I'm going to upload my TXT, a TXT, but I could have done in PDF, MD files. If you want also code, so JSON files, for example, for schemas and so on. And I'm also going to upload the global CSS. If I upload a global CSS in V0, so this is a little secret, you're going to maintain your theming. A lot of people ask me about the design system integration, right? Can it read my design system instead of using ShadCN, instead of using Tailwind, instead of using the primitives that we already have built in? At this very moment, not in full. It's on the roadmap, though, because that's something everybody's asking. Let me see. So can you build a web app? So I want an entire application. That is, I also don't speak very well with V0. Usually in prompting, you have to be extremely accurate. And I'm going to show you the TXT file, how it looks, because that's very different on how I'm talking. That is a documentation website on a game engine. You find the specs. So the specs are in the TXT file. And use all the theming from global.css. Sometimes, another secret about prompting, sometimes I have to also tell it what not to do. Especially when you create new slides, you have to tell them, do not create new content. Only use what you found on vercel.com, for example. Do not, because sometimes it just makes it up. But that's normal. That's the AI, So I'm going to go. It's going to think for a while. So it's not going to be immediate. It's always the same story. But something I want to read you out loud, because it's funny. I cannot show you because it's still in alpha, private alpha, so I cannot show you. But something we are building right now is a cursor integration with V0. Which means that in your cursor, you're going to have the Next.js expert, the Svelte expert, the Vercel expert, right? And I have a chat, internal chat, where basically it says, now it can be used in cursor. We have the API. We have a 98% of eval score, which is very high let's say, compatibility with whatever you wanted as an outcome. And I cannot really tell you what are the others, but there was somebody that said, so it's still in the chat, that was like, here, can we use this information in sales calls? Right? To sell it. Wouldn't it reveal the benchmark? And the benchmark says basically that compared to other very, very famous, very notorious solutions, we are 98% of, it says, pass rate on the model performance, compared to another very famous one I'm not going to quote, which is 51%, and another very, very, very famous that is still in cursor, that is like 32. So very, very close to being kind of the way you will use cursor and v0 together for your Next.js applications that are currently working. You can see how now it's working right on the code. So I want to show you that it's creating Next.js code, it's creating Next.js code of the best that it can be. If you also ask for the best performance for certain rendering strategies, for using app router instead of pages router, or vice versa, refactoring from app router to pages, from pages router to app router, for example, that also works really, really well. So this is the roadmap, let's say. So these are the things that we are working on. Another, I'm talking because this is, I guess you can see, it's taking a little bit, right? And if it's stuck at a certain point, I may have to refresh, and it's there. Like sometimes, of course, it's thinking, streaming all the information. And I'm not sure if it's more the browser or the LLM. One of the two are a little stuck sometimes. So in the worst case scenario, I have to refresh and then download whatever comes out. Another thing that we're working on for v0 is the integration with, in general, design systems, but based on Chatien. So it's still on that side of things, mainly with the registry. So connection through the registry of Chatien. Woo, finally. Ew, what is this super ugly? OK, I'm going to remove this. OK, we see physics, rigid body. OK, so some information. Let's see if this works. So many times, oh, it does work. It doesn't show anything, but it does work. And if I do, OK, so we have some information. Let me fix that one. So you can also select elements. Let me see if I can actually select the whole thing. Kinda. Let me try like this. You can select an element, and you can tell v0 to actually change that element. You can also theme it. So let me show you actually if I can go. Here we go. So here on the part of the typography and so on, there is theming. We call it like that. You can decide to determine certain parts of the page in a different way. So you can actually tune it, fine-tune certain parts of the application. But let me fix this. Can you make this menu collapsible? So it doesn't cover. Did I write correctly? Yeah, it doesn't cover the content. Probably. OK, so it's actually working on that side. I think it will manage to take the whole thing, the whole menu, but we shall see, because again, you pray at this point and you hope that this does work. You can also stop it. You can download. I will download it in a minute. And you can also go back to versions. If you see it hallucinating a little bit, then you can fork it. So you can use this button here, fork. It erases the memory. Okay, another little secret on v0. Fork it if you see that is. Oh, come on. Oh, there is this button here. OK. Hey, fair enough, I guess. And then no, I cannot. OK, let me see. OK, so the side menu still doesn't look good. Can you fix it and make the rest of the content fit the center, or how do you say, the main content as well? Of course, it's AI, right? Like, it's always the same. I didn't really like pick up the entire menu. That's maybe my fault. But that's why you pray. That's why you're like, OK, I hope it does work. If you have the integration with V0 and Vercel in general, you can also deploy directly. And if this works, I could also show you how, whenever you are, I can actually go back. Let me show you something interesting. While this is working, in the meantime, it's working in the background. You can also switch on a little sound, and then you're like, in another context. So you're context switching, and then at a certain point, it does like beep, and you know that it's ready. So you can actually wait for like 10 minutes, and it's not a big issue. For example, I created this sci-fi terrible. Oh my goodness, I didn't see this change. This is new. Well, you can fix errors in V0. If you don't give like a very clear guidance, it creates like very creative designs, right? I gave this guidance specifically. It was an image. And this image is just like a game dashboard where I can see certain things. It does check what are the elements, the colors, and so on. I think it also slightly insulted me because, look, if I can see the version, it also explains you. It has a verbose mode where it explains what it did, but you can switch that off also. Let me see if I can see the other. No, maybe I forked it. Too bad. It's OK. I wanted to show you, like, it created an avatar, but the avatar was a duck. So I was like, OK, thank you, I guess. Let me show you. Here we go. So I have a mock API. Sorry if it flashes a lot, because I know that white and then dark, and it's a bit. I have this data in this mock API. I'm going to delete this one, of course. But it has some mock data in this API. I saved in my project settings, I'm going to show you the project setting, in an environment variable, the connection to that API. So the authentication token, the tokens that I need. And I simply asked V0, can you connect to a REST API data source using the project secret in the environment variable? And then I quoted the one, and then connect to the source, and it has this structure. So you can also connect to your databases. You have a bunch of integrations here. So I have Neon here, but you can have Superbase and so on. You can have an overview of your project, and the knowledge is just the baseline. So if you want a global CSS or anything more. Let's see if what I have to send to Alexander finished. Yeah, it did. OK, better. OK, better. I think we are good. Then what I'm going to do is to download the code. You can do it in two ways, or in npx, shadcn, etc., or download a zip. Oh, why it's opening? OK. I just downloaded the zip, and then I go to Slack. I have a chat with Alex, and then I go and I take upload from my computer, game engine docs, done. And now it's Alex's turn. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. That went fast. I'm going to hide that. So happy to see you. No, it's all good. Thank you. All right. So thank you, HA, for the V0 project. I have to start by apologizing, everyone. I'm sorry. I'm not going to talk about content workflows or anything like that. But I'm going to talk about Strapi AI. Obviously, you showed a very quick video this morning. And I'm going to do a demo of Strapi AI. So welcome to the new content type builder. It's all empty for now. You will see a few interesting things: import from Figma, import from computer, and start from a prompt. So obviously, the idea when we start building from a design or directly vibe coding with V0 is that at some point we need to go to production, and for that we need to connect to a CMS if we manage a lot of content. And that's what we want to solve, is streamlining that transformation from your code project to the CMS structure. And we'll start trying and experimenting with that and with the project. I'm just going to start by downloading it, obviously. All right. Perfect. And I'm going to put that in my desktop. I will import the project. So when you import, obviously you have multiple ways. You can import directly from the chat or directly from the home page if you don't have any content types. And you can import a few things, either a zip folder. So it can be any code project. It can be any front-end code, or even JSON schemas it could be. Or just browse the file on your computer. And we are going to look at avoiding to send all your hidden files, obviously, to the AI. We are just looking at codes. We are respecting git ignore files, those kind of things. So we are going to pick that zip file. All right, I'm done. And I'm just going to go and see if the demo god is with me and ask it to look at the code and see what it generates. So it starts very simple at the beginning. It just detects a module. But you can already see that the module has a bunch of things, like the name, the description, the category, and you will see a lot of JSON. So the way the front end was built uses a lot of JSON and JS objects. So I'm going to start by telling it, oh, I'm just going to do a save first. Obviously, we want to be very careful with that. And first thing that you will see is the new save. That save is on the left now. Obviously, you have only one content type, so it's kind of boring. But as soon as you start having a lot of different content types, you will be able to navigate through all your schema. So that's a big change compared to the previous versions, where every time you made a change to a schema, you had to save and then switch pages. Now you will be able to navigate. I'm going to just show you that in a second. So I have my first iteration. I want to look at, well, my JSON. It's kind of not going to help me a lot. So we'll just do split the JSON into different components, for example. So it's going to try and do something here. The problem is that it doesn't know the project anymore because I had the great idea to refresh. So I'll just load it again. All right. And I'm just going to ask it again to put it into its context. Perfect. And now it starts detecting a few things. So you will see that we had changes, so now we have changelog entries, changelog details, dependency infos, the navigations. So it starts getting more and more knowledge as you tell it to look into different things. And I can also zoom a bit. You will see a lot of different new things in the UI. You will see the new labels and the new status labels in particular, where you get the new, you get that M for modified. So you get a lot of information as you modified your content. You can even start going in your view and delete stuff, and you will see that it's going to get deleted. So it's a very nice way to build up to your new version of your schema. That's something that you couldn't do before, and see what's going to happen when you actually click save. Also a very neat feature is you can just do Command Z and you go back to the previous change. So we introduced the redo and undo features and also the discard all changes in the new version. So we'll roll out all the new CTB features without the AI as a free feature. It's going to be up and running in a few weeks. And then the AI, as Aurélien mentioned this morning, will be inside the growth plan. But we'll get all of this nice new experience with the CTB, the drag and drop. It's been something requested by a lot of people. You will now be able to reorganize your fields. That's pretty cool. And you can also play with components. So I'm going to just add a component manually. Everything works seamlessly between the AI, the UI. You can play around with what you have already built through AI. Compo, finish. And you are able to just mix and match different things. Obviously, we have an error. Demo god, thank you. I had to have an error. But you can play around, go back to your AI, ask it to do a change, like remove the JSON fields, because we don't like them, for example. It's going to tell me which ones you want to remove. Remove the config JSON field, for example, only. And hopefully this one is going to be noticed. and hopefully you can see that when I close, it's got deleted automatically. You can then just do Command Z if you want to, etc. So it's removing a bunch of things for you, etc. And you can iterate a lot. So that's one of the big keys is you iterate with the AI, with the UI in a mix. And when you are happy, you just save. Or if you are a new developer on a project, what you can also do that's super cool is actually ask the AI to explain the schema. So I'm just creating it, so I'm not going to do it there. But if you just join a project, there is like Adidas, 100 content types, 250 components. You can just ask it to tell, OK, what's up? What's happening there? Show me what's connected to what, etc., etc. So the AI is not just there to build things. It's also here to assist you in understanding what's up when you are in a big team doing a lot of different things. And you can also add it to different things. Like you can add, for example, a Figma later on. So I don't have one, but you can import incrementally. That's something that can be super useful, is you build your front end with V0, you start, you create your first schema, you save it, you do all the connection, then you evolve with V0 or just manually your front end code, and you can later simply just re-import that code and ask it to see the difference between those two codes, and it will try and match the new schemas that you need and make the modifications for you. So it's like really just your assistant to building things. You can also just ask it random questions about the types, about the best practices. Should you use a dynamic zones? Should you use a relation? All of this is something the AI is capable of responding to. One last thing that I wanted to show that is purely UI. OK. We have a QA sync. I hope the AI works well. Shout out to Mario and Lucy, who are our QA team. Yay. Yeah, so last UI nuggets before I have to jump. It's all the small improvements that you probably don't even see right now, but when you will be starting to use that, you just never come back. It's all the linking, all the drag and drop, all the closing, unfolding, folding, everything that just makes your life easier when you are manipulating tens of components, tens of content types. And that's the last small improvements that I really just wanted to mention, because as we have been building this thing and using it for different internal projects, everyone has been saying that old content type was super bad. And I'm so happy to use this one. So I hope you will have all the same feeling very soon. And yeah, that's it for me. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you in the new CTB soon.